Star Wars: The Bad Batch Episode 7 was easily the most entertaining to date, and this video will contain spoilers. Very quick heads up, but finally, the episode where we meet up with Captain Rex. And the episode had a lot to do with everyone's favorite Star Wars event, Order 66. Literally the worst day ever in the history of the galaxy. Still everyone's favorite. The tears, man. Ugh. But that's not what I was most excited about. Finally, Wrecker tries to eat everyone. This one's gonna be fun. Welcome to another episode of insane Easter eggs and details missed. Today I've got 34 for you, so buckle up, strap in, and let's watch Wrecker finally please his appetite. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. So the episode is titled Battle Scars, which is a reference to what happens during the episode. The Bad Batch get their inhibitor chips removed, thus leaving them with head scars, battle scars, whatever you want to call it. That's what they called it. And after we meet Rex, which I'll get into in a bit, you can actually see the scar left by the surgery Ahsoka performed to remove his inhibitor chip in Clone Wars Season 7. He's got a little mark on his head. It's there. It's different to his appearance in Season 6 and every season prior. There you go. He's got the head scar. Now, the opening of Episode 7 is a bit of a throwback to The Empire Strikes Back. The Bad Batch are being chased by a group of fighters and desperately trying to get the hyperdrive online to make the jump to lightspeed. This is the same situation that Han and the gang faced in the Millennium Falcon in Empire while on the run from the Empire. Remember that? Chewie's all there trying to get the thing working. It's not happening. He's yelling at him, drops the box of hammers on Han. It's all a mess. It's a complete mess, and they escape eventually. Also, this blaster cannon operated by Hunter is also super similar to the one installed in the Falcon we see put to use in A New Hope by Luke and Han when they take out the TIE fighters. Really similar setup here. Now, the Bad Batch mentioned they're being chased by the Rokai, spelt like this. As far as I know, this is an entirely new species we've never seen or heard of before in Star Wars. Couldn't find anything anywhere on who they are, what they do, what they look like. Nothing. They don't exist before this. Take a look at their ships though. They look kind of familiar, right? To me, they look really similar to the Jedi Interceptors, the ETA-2 Actus class light interceptor. These were developed by Kuat Systems Engineering, who also made lots of other ships throughout the galaxy. So perhaps these were a similar model manufactured by the same manufacturers, except these ones keep the wing flaps down, whereas the Jedi get the wing flaps. Interesting though, right? Now, the Bad Batch's objective, it seems, was to capture this small lizard, which Omega names Ruby. I'm not sure what type of lizard this is. Have we seen this before? Not sure. All I know is that it rolls like a droideka. But this whole scene is only relevant to tell us that some time has passed since the events of the last episode. And it seems as though the Bad Batch have been working for Sid for a little while now, and have possibly performed several other missions and jobs that go unmentioned. Later, when Hunter complains that they're owed more, Sid lists several other expenses they've accrued, including docking fees, port charges, gear, fuel, rations, you name it, they're all there. Sure, these could just be from their latest job of trying to acquire the tactical droid from the decommissioning factory, but it feels like more time has passed, and there's more traditions in place here, one in particular involving space popcorn, which I'll get to in a sec. So as we get back to Sid's on Ord Mantell after the Bad Batch make their escape and jump to lightspeed, we can see the Ithorian and Weequay, who've been hanging out in the background, and who first appeared in the Clone Wars. They're still here, and they're facing off in a game of holo chess. My advice, let the Wookiee win. Now, there are two aliens standing in front of the mysterious hooded figure in the cantina, or in the bar, or whatever this place is. This guy is a Pantoran. The Bad Batch visited Pantora in an earlier episode. They have the blue skin, the George Lucas character, and this is a Gotal. Now, Wrecker and Omega have developed a sneaky tradition following each of their missions. They go out and get themselves a bucket of Mantell mix, which appears to be some kind of space popcorn, whatever it is. I want some. I like the colors. Looks good. Looks crunchy. So the Ithorian and Weequay I mentioned earlier, the prisoners from the Martez Sisters arc in Clone Wars Season 7. They confront Rex, and there's something a little different about the Ithorian. See this thing here? It's a translator. Ithorians are incapable of speaking English, or what Star Wars people call galactic basic. So someone invented these for the Ithorians, so they're capable of translating their mumbled speech into English. And this translator gadget first appeared in the Clone Wars Season 4 episode Friends and Enemies. Now, that talk the Bad Batch were having with Sid I mentioned earlier, the one about them owing her a gonk ton of money, takes place in Sid's office, which we first saw in Episode 5, and was littered with Easter eggs and details and references to other Star Wars stuff. Well, that Phase 2 clone trooper helmet is still hanging on the wall. Thought it was worth mentioning. entertaining because why in Jabba's name does Sid have a clone helmet? Did someone give it to her? Did she find it? Did she kill a clone trooper to get this? Oh, and she also has a clone pilot helmet and a Mando helmet. So there's those two, but we don't see them in this episode. So back to this scene, and the Ithorian and Weequay are trying to intimidate Rex, cause some trouble, and get him out of their seat. So what does Rex do? Fires off a few blaster shots. Good old swashbuckling kind of guy. But what's funny is that Rex's blaster sounds identical to Han's DL-44 blaster. Listen. And this scene reminded me of A New Hope when Luke and Han steal a couple of stormtroopers' armor by luring them into the Falcon, where we hear this. Sounds pretty similar, right? So Rex puts his blaster down and I couldn't really see or identify it. It's not really clear from this distance what type of blaster it is. So let me know if you can figure it out because I'd love to know. And as these two scoundrels scramble their way out of the bar, we can see some Aurebesh writing on the wall. And this translates to meat packing. Ugh, how barbaric. What, people here still eat meat? Come on, guys. All right, so we finally get the reveal that it's Rex hiding under the cloak. What a surprise! Not sure why he's hiding himself from the Bad Batch. What, he doesn't want them to see him when he walks in? He wants to, you know, surprise them all dramatically, which he does. Anyway, this hooded cloak tunic thing he's wearing is the same one we saw in the mysterious hologram Rafa was speaking to at the end of episode 6. So this confirms it was Rex under the hood, and a bit later on, he also says the Martez sisters tipped him off the Bad Batch's location. So, no, it wasn't Bail Organa or Maul or anyone else with potential bad intentions. It was good old Rex. We also get a bit of background on how Rex has managed to stay under the radar following Order 66. According to the Empire's files, Rex was killed in action, most likely aboard the Tribunal Venator, which went down on this unidentified moon in the final episode of the Clone Wars. So no one even knows Rex is still alive. Good for him. Can move around in the shadows. Hunter tells Rex that Omega is a clone, just like all of them, and Rex looks stunned. He says,
"I've met many clones in my time, but never one like you."
And after a quick inspection of Rex's face, Omega identifies him as a Gen 1, based on the lines on his face, meaning he was one of the first clones ever born from the original clones. Probably the ones we saw in Attack of the Clones. He was from those guys. Anyway, when she refers to his lines, she's talking about his wrinkles. Rex is getting a little old in the face, and in the knees, potentially. He's not getting around like he used to. All right, and here's where things get really interesting. Wrecker's headaches are getting worse and worse, which is immediate cause for alarm for Rex. He knows what headaches are about. He's seen them before and knows a heck of a lot more about the inhibitor chips than the Bad Batch and anyone else here. So Wrecker asks Tech for a med patch. Now, med patches first appeared in the Clone Wars Season 6 episode Conspiracy, just after Tup had murdered Jedi Master Tiplar. These were a small bandage placed on the head and used to patch incisions made during surgery, usually when removing inhibitor chips. Although, I'm assuming they also ease pain, which is why Wrecker's asking for one. But Tech says he just used the last one. Anyway, this whole headache situation causes Rex to completely freak out. He basically has a standoff with the other Bad Batch members, says they need to remove their chips immediately. It's urgent, otherwise they could all turn at any moment and are ticking time bombs. And when the Bad Batch agree, he's like, "Ah, all right, sweet, I'll be in touch." Wait, what? I thought you said this was like super urgent. You're gonna let them all fly on their own to meet you on some faraway distant planet, knowing that in the meantime they could just activate the inhibitor chips and, you know, do something else. They could hunt you down. I guess he didn't really have a choice. He couldn't do much else. He doesn't really have the facilities here to remove the chips, so he's just gonna trust him. But man, his mood just flipped in that scene, just right at the end. It's just, yeah, it's all good. All right, I'll be in touch. Cut. Next scene. 1 second he's panicking, next he's like, "Yeah, sweet, all good, mate." So, the Bad Batch are heading to Bracca to meet up with Rex, and for possibly the first time ever, a planet which was first depicted in a video game is now in a Star Wars show. Bracca is where Jedi Fallen Order begins. The Venator, Jara Tapal, and Padawan Calamari Kestis were aboard, was positioned over Bracca, and is possibly one of these ones here, as Jara Tapal destroyed it just before he died, so it probably crashed into the planet. It's probably in this graveyard somewhere. Anyway, this all means that Calamari Kestis is here on this planet, hiding somewhere, while the Bad Batch are here as well. They came this close to meeting up with a Jedi Padawan in hiding, and a pretty damn good one too. Love to see some kind of Easter egg for our calculator friend to make a cameo in an upcoming episode, because I'm assuming we'll be spending a little more time here on Bracca before the Bad Batch forced out of here or just decide to leave. And after the Bad Batch land on Bracca, we can see Rex's ship parked just beside where they land. It's the same Y-Wing he grabbed in the final episode of Season 7. So there it is. It was there. He's still got it. He's still rocking the Y-Wing. Okay, this in the background here in the scrapyard, I think could be one of those Hammerhead Corvettes, like the one we saw in Rogue One that was completely awesome. It rammed the side of the Star Destroyer. Amazing. Or it could be just some sort of Corellian Corvette. Looks kind of similar at the front of the ship, right? Although I'm not sure they were even in use at this time. And this is a ship graveyard, so it'd have to be, used before this. But looks kind of similar, right? Now, Rex mentions that Bracca is controlled by the Scrapper Guild. These guys here, which we also first saw in Jedi Fallen Order. They're in charge of all Scrapper operations and control the planet's economy and people and everything, the whole operation here. Although this becomes an Imperial world, it is now. So I guess the Empire are really the ones in control, aren't they? As the Bad Batch make their way towards the destroyed Venator's medical bay to start extracting the inhibitor chips, Rex mentions Fives and says,
Fives tried to warn me about the chips, but I didn't understand at the time. It's still hard to believe now.
Remember Fives from the Clone Wars, the clone who witnessed Tup murder Master Tiplar? Fives learned the truth behind the chips, but unfortunately was killed while trying to relay this information to the other clones. That was back in Season 6. Pretty cool for him to get a mention here, though. I like that. Now, let's talk about some of Bracca's native creatures. I'll get to the others soon, but the first one I want to mention here are these birds, which I don't ever remember seeing in Jedi Fallen Order. So, Bracca has birds now. They're new. Now, next. Echo asks Rex how he got his chip removed, to which Rex simply replies,
I had help.
This is the first indirect mention we get to Ahsoka Tano. Cool, there you go. Now, more of the creatures I promised. Wrecker's afraid of heights, right? Falls down here, and then this Sarlacc-looking thing goes after him. But it's not a Sarlacc. This is the Iblis Maw, which is a gigantic superorganism that lives on and below the surface of Bracca and eats scrap and basically anything that falls in. But here's the creepy part. It's not just one mouth. This isn't one Iblis Maw. It's dozens of these mouths, some smaller and some larger, and all of them are connected underground. They're all one thing. It's one creature. Pretty creepy, right? The Iblis Maw also appeared in Jedi Fallen Order. Cal saves Prouf from falling in, thus revealing his force powers. That scene right in the opening mission. All right, inside the Venator, we see a few rats running around. These are scrap rats, also first appearing in Jedi Fallen Order. Cal even mentions them in the opening mission.
Sounds like scrap rats. Creepy. Just passing through, guys. No need to come out and say hi this time.
So, inside the med bay, this gadget Tech he's trying to place on Wrecker, but eventually gets choked. This is the same device we saw him tinkering with a few episodes ago in the cockpit, and it's used to help extract and pinpoint the exact location of the inhibitor chip inside the clone's brains. And then, of course, the moment we've all been waiting for since like episode 2 or 3, we called it! Wrecker turns! The time has come. Execute order, eat everyone. And I love that the writers chose Wrecker to be the one to turn. First of all, because he's stronger than all the others and much harder to contain. And second, because of his relationship with Omega. And how heartbreaking it'd be if she witnessed him kill all the other members of the Bad Batch, and she had to be the one to pull the trigger, to kill him, to save herself. But she didn't. This is Disney after all. And what do you think? Omega was actually going to kill Wrecker? Nope. He came this close to eating everyone though, so I was happy about that. And after this scene, what's so interesting is that Wrecker apologizes to Omega for what happened. He remembers everything, but was unable to control it. So does this mean that all clones are actually screaming inside their own heads, trying to stop themselves from killing Jedi and God knows who else, but they simply can't help it? There's nothing they can do about it, but they still are actually themselves inside there. It's creepy stuff, man. Anyway, in Rex's final scene of the episode, he's standing outside talking to someone on his wrist comm. He says,
I'll meet you at the rendezvous by the next rotation.
Now, there's a few people he could be talking to here. The most likely candidate, I think, is Ahsoka, but I guess he could also be chatting with Martez sisters. But what's next for Rex? What's he up to? Where's he headed? And what are his objectives? He's going to be, trying to reform the Republic in some way, it seems. And how does he get from here to where he is in Star Wars Rebels? Hopefully we'll see more of that in the Bad Batch. It feels like we will, and Rex is going to show up again very soon. Also, wanted to point out, in this scene, where is Hunter's bandage? Didn't he have to cut that gorgeous mane chain of hair to get his chip removed. I think maybe I can see it under his headband, but the dude never takes this thing off. Even when he was hiding undercover with Cutler Quain in episode 2, still leaves the headband on with the Bad Batch insignia. Like, seriously, bros, right there you can tell you're part of some organization Bad Batch. And right at the end of the episode, we see the Scrapper Guild workers. These guys here, who first appeared in Jedi Fallen Order, or at least some version of them did anyway, they notify the Empire of the Bad Batch's presence aboard the Jedi cruiser. So, looks like trouble's coming. And I think Rex will be involved in a later episode, like I said, perhaps not the next one, but his ending and the way he walked off in this episode, Hunter telling him to give him a call if he's ever in trouble, I'm sure we'll be seeing more of Rex soon, and the Empire are coming. I think Crosshair's coming, so get ready for that. So, did I miss anything? Any details you noticed in this episode that I missed? Please let me know in the comments. And for more on the Bad Batch and Star Wars latest in Star Wars gaming, watch one of these videos here, and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and join my Discord for lots more Star Wars gaming news updates, Bad Batch memes, content, and everything else. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.
Stay bombastic.